Sorry this video is late, but let's not get into that. Let's just jump into the review. Legend of Korra, Book 4, Episode 7, Reunion. And immediately there were only just two major plot and stories that, you know, were the focus of this episode. And while both of them had moments where I just stood there in questioning disbelief, for the most part they were enjoyable. The less impressive one for me was Korra going back to Republic City. I mean, it's nice to see her back there and interact with Asami, Mako, you know, and Tenzin, and, you know, that's just fun. But then the majority of the story there was ruined with Wu. Now, it's not because he himself is just so annoying, but it's because the last episode we had him in, he seemed to be taking a step in the right direction. You know, he realized he was a bad ruler. He's realized that he was a nuisance to a lot of people and that he needed to improve if he was ever going to have a hope of being a ruler ever again or just being a good person. But it just seems like the writers threw all that out and just made him all annoying all over again. In this episode, he was just constantly screaming and just constantly whining and wanting something that, you know, that shouldn't be his. So hopefully they didn't completely throw it away thinking like, you know, people already hate him, let's just make him unlikable all the way throughout. And it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, I kind of find it hilarious that the whole episode for that, you know, for this part would have been completely avoided if Mako just went to the bathroom with Wu. That's it. It's just like, alright, fine, you know, people have been trying to kidnap you recently, so I guess I do have to go with you to the bathroom. But no, it's like, you've annoyed me too many times. Go to the bathroom by yourself. Oh, he's been kidnapped? Well, we have a story now. Let's go. It's like, yeah, I was kind of questioning. It's like, it's not like he's going to ask you to hold his hand while he's, you know, taking a piss. Just, you know, I don't know, stand out, you know, next to the door. Make sure no one can come in or go without, you know, knowing if, you know, Wu's okay. But then again, we wouldn't have a story. And I have to say, I'm not one for, you know, shipping or pairings. Or I don't care. You know, if they end up together, that's fine. If they don't, that's also fine. I don't care. What really, you know, keeps my focus is the actual story and the action and just, you know, the actual characters individually progressing, you know, growing up and learning new things. But teasing a possible relationship is something that irritates me to no end. I mean, it's been done to death in movies, cartoons, other anime from Japan. It's just constantly teasing, like, oh, are they gonna get together? If they don't, it's still, you know, we gave you fan service and like things you want. It's like, really? And the moment that really made me think this was when Korra came back, you know, and you know, they're just constantly pushing this whole Korra and Asami thing that fans love. And when she blushed at Asami, you know, complimenting her hair, I don't know if girls actually get nervous or embarrassed at other girls complimenting them. I don't just hang around groups of girls trying to notice that. That's just weird. If they do, then I'm reading too much into it. But if this is actually just another point for fan service, like, oh, look, you know, the fans love Korra and Asami pairings, here's a little possible hint that it might happen, or that we acknowledge it, it's just, don't do that. If you're gonna actually have them be a pair, you know, go lesbo, go ahead, go all the way, don't be afraid, you know. But either way, that didn't last long. It was just a little point that maybe I'm reading too much into it. If I am, my bad, don't hate me for it. It's just something I took notice of. And ultimately, you know, Prince Wu gets kidnapped, they save him. That's really it. There's no real development except for now he's living in Asami's house where Mako's family also lives. But other than that, yeah, that's it. The other story that had me, you know, laughing and also at the same time cheering was Bolin and Varric's story when they're trying to escape the Earth Empire. The only part of that little story that, you know, confused me was Kuvera imprisoning the firebenders and waterbenders. When I heard that, I kind of got mad. Unless there's a good explanation as to why she would do this, I'm just gonna assume the writers want her to be more evil than ever. She's the new Hitler. It's just like, guys, haven't we been over this? I already can tell you're pushing us to hate her. You're pushing us to realize Korra's the only good person. She's the good side. There is no gray area. There's no debate as to whose actions are right or wrong, or whose intentions are, you know, mean the best for the, you know, the people. It's just Kuvera is evil. She's imprisoning innocent people for no good reason, just for existing. It's just, guys, that's so far that it's unbelievable. I mean, Kuvera doesn't seem to be the person who would just imprison them. She seems to be the one who wants to improve her own empire. And I think having firebenders and waterbenders be part of our, you know, nation would do that. I mean, I'm sure you can find usage for them. You know, don't waste resources. But if she just imprisoned them because you're not earthbenders, like we want to keep the empire pure, it's just that doesn't seem like something Kuvera would do. It really doesn't. But, you know, like I said, unless I get like a decent explanation as to why this is going on, maybe they're tourists and they're not actually Earth Empire citizens. Maybe they were just, you know, visiting from another nation. She assumes, you know, that's why, you know, they're in trouble. They can start a petition or riots or something like that because, you know, they were raised in a different system. They wouldn't agree with her laws. I don't know, but like I said, that just irritates me. I need a better explanation than this. But either way, the majority of this part was still, you know, miles better than any of these little flaws can irritate me. So it was when Bolin and Varric are trying to help the refugees escape, and of course, you know, the whole sorry about that. The whole you know, they're trying to convince the guards to let them pass. They're like, are you questioning Kuvera's orders? And you better not do that. So of course, you know, gotta like go. The wanted posters like, hey, you guys are, you know, traitors. And the whole fight ensues. You know, they're outnumbered. They have these robot suits attacking them. It's all chaos. And then I see Varric, you know, looking at the generator and this little steel rod on the table. It's just like, oh, what's he gonna do? And he, you know, he's just trying something. He's just trying anything that he thinks might work. So and then when he actually uses this EMP sort of thing and shuts down all the robots, I squeezed like, yes, Varric, you're awesome. It made me realize this is the guy I want on my side in case there's ever a robot revolution. It's like, if there's a robot army coming my way, I want Varric to help me out and try to take these guys down. You know, because he knows how these things work. Although he does seem to be the kind of guy who would start the robot revolution by accident. But either way, he'd still be the guy I want on my side to help me take down these machines. And it just like amazes me. Like when Varric does something that interests me more than Bolin lava bending, that's awesome. But either way, you know, of course, you know, they escape with the refugees. They go to a boat going north. I don't know exactly which direction Republic City is from where they are, so maybe north will lead them to it. But either way, the end of the episode ends with Kuvera Jr. and her entire, you know, fleet of airships surrounding the swamp and saying, hey, these are spirit vines and they're more powerful than the ones we got from Republic City. It's like, all right, then start chopping some down and we'll take them with us and make more super weapons. And it just made me think, like, well, shit, that's Toph's home. She's not going to let that happen. Now, I doubt, as awesome as Toph is, she can take down an entire army of Earthbenders. But, I mean, it'd be pretty awesome to see Kuvera versus Toph and Kuvera get, you know, something coming towards her. It's like, yeah, Toph just being badass and knocking Kuvera around a bit before all of her army come in and stop Toph. But either way, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next episode. Hopefully there is some Toph. If not, that tease at the end was just pointless. But anyway, like I said, there were some moments where I just stood there in disbelief, like, why is this happening? Why are they doing this? But for the majority of the episode, I loved it. It was fun, action-packed, and it just created just hilarity that really it's gonna last me a long time. It's just like, all right, Varric and Bolin is still fantastic, and that's ultimately it. I mean, I love this episode. It's good. I liked it. Can't wait for the next one. Till then, I'm Tony Dragon. Bye bye.